good evening, good afternoon. I feel like I could talk about a lot today before I get to the food. And one of the things with menopause and getting old is how hard it is to lose weight. Now, I have lost weight, but I feel like I should have lost a whole lot more because I don't feel like I'm eating a huge amount. But again, with aging, you can't blame everything on menopause. I've now got high blood pressure and I'm on 2 pills, and both of them put weight on. And I know there's this thing Zoe going around where you put the thing on, and I was really tempted to get that, but I thought I think I know what my body needs and doesn't need. So I'm laughing because last week I had something wrong with me, which is probably too much information to share with friends, but I was constipated. And I realised I hadn't had enough fibre, and I probably hadn't had enough carbs. So in fact, last night we had some vegetable, I made stuffed courgette. You're going to get the recipe for that soon. But today I just feel, and tomorrow night's meal, we've got some friends coming tomorrow, and there's not many carbs in tomorrow night's meal at all. So I thought I need to carb up today. And so I spent today, my train of thought was this. I was in bed last night and I was thinking, oh, BLT, I really fancy a BLT. And then I thought, but it's the middle of the night and I won't fancy a BLT in the morning. I don't want to have a sandwich for dinner. So could I do a BLT style pasta? And then I thought, well, you can't really put lettuce in pasta. So I'm calling this dish, I finally got there, a BRT, which is going to be a bacon, rocket and tomato pasta. The first thing I'm doing is I'm lucky enough to have this piece of guanciale, which I'm going to take the skin off and I'm going to dice it. But you can use pancetta, and this will be our starting point. Actually, just a note about special ingredients like this. This is half of one, so normally you would get one, it would be twice the size. I think it's about 1.2 kilos, and it costs about £27, but it's not just about the money, it's also about how often you would use it. So what I've done with this is I've actually cut mine in half and I've shared the cost with a friend. It makes sense. And then we'll just, I'm lucky I have a vac seal machine, but you can, as long as you just keep it wrapped in an airtight plastic bag, and that way it's, and even if you prefer pancetta, it's cheaper to buy a big piece, which you can do online. Anyway, I'll stop talking and get on with the cooking. Oops. I like to share my secrets with you, and I know the last couple of cooks I've shared my truffle slice secret. This isn't particularly cheap, but it's really worth it. I don't spend a lot of money on gadgets, as in, you know, expensive things like Thermomixes, but there's a few things that are not expensive that I swear by. This little knife, this is my serrated knife. You could use a bread knife, but these are only a couple of quid, and these are fantastic for cutting tomatoes. And the third gadget, or it's not really a gadget, that I use a lot is this. I use this for grating ginger, and you can also use it for grating garlic, although I much prefer to do garlic with that. Okay, I'm going to get on with cooking now. So I have cooked my pancetta, in fact mine was guanciale but pancetta, and you can see the fat has separated. I'm going to take the meat bits out and set them aside, and then this gorgeous fat that you've rendered is what I'm now going to cook my gorgeous tomato sauce in. So in the recipe I will say 1 whole onion. Again, I was using up, so I had some banana shallots. So these are banana shallots. I'm going to pop those in the pan. I'm going to cook those on a low heat for about 7 to 8 minutes. After 7 to 8 minutes, I'm going to put in my garlic. Just opening the cupboard. I've got some water. I'm putting in plenty of salt. Remember, I've said it before, your pasta water should be salty as the sea. I've got 150 grams of, I'm going to say any pasta shape you like. I've got this pasta that looks a little bit like gnocchi. It's not orecchiette. I can't remember what it's called, but you can pick any pasta shape, and it's about 100. This is for 2 people I'm cooking for tonight, so that's about 150 grams. Obviously double it if there's more of you. So my onions are also nice and soft now. So the garlic's going to go in. I know that what I do is not TikTok friendly. There's nothing speedy and fast. You get to see me shaving a whole garlic. So that will literally take a minute to cook because it's so paper thin. There we go, that's the garlic in. I'm going to give that a stir. I'm going to, this is going to be a nice chili sauce. I'm going to put in some, what's that? That's about a tablespoon of tomato puree. So that's your tomato paste. Always needs cooking down a little bit. So that's cooked down. I've decided with this dish to go with fresh chilies. You could use dry chili flakes if you want, but I definitely, for this dish, I want a nice punchy tomato sauce. And then lastly, well not lastly, I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes. 1 tin is perfect quantity for 2 people. So that's going in. I will give it a little bit of salt. I am going to give it a little pinch of sugar, maybe 2 pinches. And then I'm going to leave that, oh, and maybe some pepper, which I'll do when I can find it. I'm going to leave that to just cook on a really low heat for about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, the pasta, the pack instructions for this particular shape were 11 minutes. So I've set a timer for 9.5 minutes. I want to slightly undercook it because it's going to then go in the sauce. So when that's cooked, just to cover myself in case I need to get the sauce down, I will use my little thing. In fact, I can do it now. I'll use my little thing. I'll reserve some of the cooking water, then I'll drain that, and that'll be fine. That can wait until we finish off the dish. I do this every night, I lose the clicker. Sauce is done. It's kind of the consistency of jam. I've got some fresh basil. I'm just going to turn that through there. I've got my pasta shapes. I'm now going to go in and I'm going to return this to the cooker and just cook it for 2 minutes so that the pasta gets lovely and coated. Okay, pasta's been cooked in the sauce. I'm now going to serve it. My vision is coming alive. This is kind of what I had in mind. Bacon, BRT, bacon, rocket and tomato. So we've got a lovely chili tomato pasta base. I've got the bacon bits, whether it's guanciale or pancetta or bacon. I want you to sprinkle that all over. I've also got, which was another reason why I was coming up with this recipe, because our tomatoes, I've got some fresh tomatoes. I'm going to give this a grating of Parmesan because it would be wrong if I didn't. And then I'm going to top with some rocket. And then the rocket is going to get dressed with extra virgin olive oil. You could use chili oil if you wanted, but I've just tasted that tomato sauce and it's pretty damn hot. Okay, there we are. This is my BRT.